Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Happy New Year. I think it's still okay to say Happy New Year. We're about 2 weeks into 2024. So, Happy New Year. Welcome to my channel. So, I'm just here today because a lot of us are at that age, retirement age, right? Turning 57, 60, 62, 65. A lot of us are looking at retirement. And a lot of us have a hard time imagining what our retirement will look like. Probably not a lot of you, but there are those who, when I tell them I'm looking forward to retirement, and by the way, I don't call it retirement, I call it graduation. I feel like I'm graduating. I'm graduating to a new time in my life. I hate to use the cliche second act, but because really I feel like it's more than I've gone through a few acts, not just two. But it is a new time in our life. I feel like it's a coming of age for me, a coming of ageless. And a lot of times when you tell people either you want to do a sabbatical or you retiring, like I know a lot of you are doing sabbaticals. Some of you are just quitting your jobs. I know a lot of us have had that revelation. But when you tell people you are retiring, especially if they think you're still physically able to work, the first thing they ask is, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do in retirement? What are you going to do with yourself? And my very first answer is nothing. I don't want to do anything. Or why do I have to do anything, right? But the truth of the matter is there are so many things that I wanted to do or have wanted to do or could have been doing had I not been working 40 hours a week somewhere else for someone else. So today, I just want to talk about 3 ways to approach retirement or approach taking a break from work, but particularly if you are a woman of a certain age, and by a certain age, I mean 60 plus, as am I, right? So 3 ways to approach retirement for Black women in particular. But first, if you're new here, my name is Sibongile, and this is my channel. Welcome. I hope that you come back. I hope that you have suggestions for me in the comments on what you would like to hear regarding Black women in retirement, Black women coming of age, ageless. And also, please like and subscribe. And let me know more about what you want to hear for us at this time in our lives. So, without any further ado, 3 ways to approach retirement and prepare for your second act. Now, mind you, this is not approaching ways to approach retirement financially. This has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with whether you're going to move or not, or it doesn't have anything to do with that, but just your mindset in terms of thinking about how can I approach this? Because believe it or not, a lot of us are, well, I keep saying a lot of us, you may not be, but I thought approaching retirement, and I thought as that date began to come closer that I would, I'd be, yes, I'm ready. But the truth of the matter is I have just a little bit of anxiety. I still have a little while to go before I am actually retired. I still work, but I feel a little bit of anxiety because I've always been that person who kept a job, in some cases 2 and 3 jobs, because I always wanted to make sure I had enough. And if I wasn't going to work, I was going to school, I was doing something, right? I never had the luxury of just literally just doing nothing, at least not more than for just the weekend, right? Those 2 days that we get. So I didn't think that I would feel some kind of way about retirement, but in actuality, I'm a little bit nervous. And if you hear a humming in the background, just ignore it. As fate would have it, I'm approaching retirement, and of course, we have a leak in the bathroom, and they had to come out today and put out fans and tear out everything because there was a little bit of mold there, and so we basically have to get our whole bathroom remodeled. But in a way, that's a good thing, right? So 3 ways. So the number 3 way to approach your retirement, particularly if you're feeling some kind of anxiety about it, or or what have you, before you start anything in retirement, right? And this is what I'm planning to do. I'm planning, right? I'm going to try to follow my own advice. But before you start anything else, in the first week or few days after you retire, do absolutely nothing. Allow yourself to get bored, right? When I was in school, and I went to school when I was a little older, when I was in school, and I would have spring break off or a couple of weeks before the next semester start, I had to tell myself, allow myself to be bored, allow myself to embrace the boredom, right? Because in another few days, it's gonna be on and popping again. So allow yourself to be bored. Sit with the idea that I don't have to do anything if I don't want to. Just sit with that. If you have to turn off everything in the house and just be quiet and be still, just sit with the idea that, wow, I don't have to do anything if I don't want to, right? And sit with the understanding and the reality of, I can just sit here and just breathe in and breathe out, and I don't have to worry about who needs what from me, who wants what from me, and all of that. So yeah, so the first thing to do is just do nothing. Allow yourself and give yourself permission to do nothing. And that's harder for some of us than it is for everybody. You know, if like I said, I've always worked. So if you've been that person that has always been busy, always had something to do, right? Just the idea of sitting in one spot quietly, or even not quietly, be a couch potato, right? Binge watch something. Allow yourself to get bored, right? The number two idea and way to approach retirement, or as you're approaching retirement and that date is getting closer and closer, right? And this is the hard part for me, right? Because I said allow yourself to get bored. But in those bored moments, or once you allow yourself to sit down and take a breath, get a pad of paper and a pen or pencil and write down, make a list of the things that that you want to do in retirement that doesn't involve work, right? That doesn't involve doing something for someone else. I know a lot of you got grandbabies, and y'all can't deny them grandbabies. No matter how much they get on your nerves, y'all can't deny them grandbabies. I know. But, excuse me, make a list of the things that you want to do that doesn't involve work, okay? Or taking care of somebody else's responsibility. And also because people find out that you're retired, and all of a sudden they can, if you don't find anything to do for yourself, they can find everything for you to do, right? They want you to babysit the kids. They want you to take the kids here. They need you to come and help volunteer for this, that, and the other thing. Or why don't you come to this party? Or why don't you come to this gala? Why don't you come to this function? Or my church is having a blah, 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 right? So people are going to find a way to use your time. So you have to be prepared in making this list of things that you want to do that doesn't involve work and doesn't involve doing something for someone else. You also have to learn to say no, right? We've learned over the years, women, we've learned that no is a complete sentence. And it really is. It really is a complete sentence, right? Some of us can't help ourselves. Someone asks us something that's, particularly if we know we can do it, if we can afford it, if we have it, if we have the time, and someone asks us for something, it's very difficult for some of us to just say, I can't do that right now. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to do that. Or maybe I'm not sorry, but I can't. No, sorry, can't do that. So in making that list of things to do, learn to say no. That's the first thing. But also, again, make a list of things to do that doesn't involve work. So that yoga class you've always wanted to take, that's one of the things that I'm planning on doing, is getting back into yoga, because I used to love yoga. And so, yeah, that's one of my things. But yoga, or if it's skating, or if it's just walking in the park more often, Being in the park, being around um, nature, stopping and smell the roses, like cliche, but still. Um, I found that walking barefoot on grass or in what they call grounding, they have something called grounding mats. Someone asked me to bring them a grounding mat once when I was going to visit some relatives. And it's a grounding mat. It's supposed to help, and you can get it on Amazon, but it's supposed to help you get grounded to the earth, to your center, to your being, and it's to replace what we lost when we stopped being outside so much. It's replaced what we lost when we have walked barefoot in the park. Particularly when we were children, we used to run barefoot and get grass cuts in between our toes. Ooh, but that's when we didn't think about what was in the grass, right? We just walked barefoot in the grass, on the ground, on the dirt, and thought nothing about it. Well, of course, we're all refined now, so we don't do that. But now they have a device that helps you do, and that's something that you don't even have to pay for. Just go outside and walk in your backyard, right? That's why I love being at the beach, because most of the time on the beach, you're going to be barefoot the whole time, right? Barefoot, you're in on the sand, you're in the water, in the waves. But I did that this summer. Went in my backyard. I laid out on a blanket, right? You don't have to go to a park. I got grass in my yard, give thanks. So, yeah, walk on some grass. Get yourself grounded again to the universe and into the earth. Read some books. I used to read, like they say, voracious. Is it voraciously? Voracious. I used to read a lot, right? I used to read a lot. But working every day, of course, being in school, there's reading that you have to do for class. So after a while, I didn't read as much as I used to, right? So that's one of my things. I have a list of books that I want to read. I want to, I don't know, all of those things that don't involve work, that doesn't necessarily involve the making of money if you don't have to. Yeah, so that's number two. Number one, the number one way I think to approach a retirement, or when you're at that age, when you no longer have to work. And thank God I have approached that age. I've worked 20 years. I never thought that I'd work 20 years anywhere. But I have, and there are a lot of you who have also reached that milestone, right? And so you can, I don't want to say afford to, because I think you can create ways to retire and go into retirement if you need to, right? I know a lot of jobs don't offer the opportunities, the monetary opportunities for you to be able to just say, I quit, and I know I'm still going to have an income. But for those of you who do, but you are still finding that you have some anxiety around it or what have you, find ways to just simply be at peace. Create those moments that help you be at peace with your decision to walk away from a job that you've been at for many, many years. Find ways to create peace and to be at peace with that decision, because sometimes it can be a little, it can cause a little bit of anxiety. If you have a therapist, if you see a therapist, and I subscribe to that, to that idea to seek therapy, even if you don't, right? Seek therapy just because you want to be able to tell all your business to somebody and don't have to worry about it going any further, right? But just find ways to be at peace about it. If necessary, talk about it. If you have girlfriends that you can talk about it, or sister friends that you can talk about it too. But whatever it is that brings you peace, maybe it's a glass of wine. I don't know. Maybe it's a glass of something brown, right? Some of us do that, right? But find a way to be at peace with it, and to know and to trust deep down. Not only I don't even want to say you deserve it, but you do deserve it. You deserve it, and it's yours, and you can do with it what you want, right? Um, be at peace. Some people, I think some people actually feel, dare I say, guilty. Some of us women, and particularly black women, because we are so used to doing everything for everybody, even on our jobs, right? I'm not even talking about just family or friends, but on the job, and even like on the job that I work, I feel that they use black women, especially those of us of a certain age. They use us to do the grunt work, right? The manual. They use us for the manual. And when I say the manual, you can have 4 degrees and a Nobel Peace Prize, and you'll still be making copies. You'll still be sending out news emails. You'll still be typing up something. You'll still be organizing a meeting for somebody else. You'll still be filing. You'll still be doing data entry, right? So, I mean, and I don't even know where I was going with that, but but I'm just saying, be at peace with your decision. You don't owe anything to anybody, right? And after working all of the years that you've worked, or even if you've worked 2 years and you decide to call it quits, it's yours. It's yours. It belongs to you. Own it, right? Own it. It's yours. So that's all my ranting is about. I will come to you again and tell you more about my adventures in retirement once it happens. And it's so funny. Let me tell you a real quick story. My supervisor, right, asked me to attend a 3-day HR, human resources, leadership workshop. 3 days, right? Now, mind you, I've been working from home since before the pandemic. I was teleworking before that, mostly. And so about 2 months before my retirement, and I let her know I'm about to retire. She knows this. But about 2 months before my retirement, she insisted that I attend this leadership training, 3-day leadership training on campus in the office. And it really was an interesting training, but it was all of the things that I needed at the beginning of my career. Really, it was. And I asked her, I said, why are you asking me to do this? And you know that I am ready to walk away. And her response was, well, I'm hoping you're going to change your mind. I'm like, really? It's not going to happen. Right? It's not going to happen. I'm not going to change my mind. But she still insisted that I took this training, which was fine. It gave me three days away from work. And also, I spoke to her assistant, right? Assistant supervisor. And I'm about 2 weeks out now, and she was like, are you still a short timer? Why do they think you're not serious? Why do they think, to me, it's a little bit of gaslighting in that. I don't know about you, but are you sure you know what you're doing? You sure you want to retire right now? Because we would love to keep you. We still need you. So maybe you'll change your mind. Maybe you don't really want to retire. But what they don't understand is I wanted to retire 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years. And granted, I've been trying to hold on in order to at least achieve that. And it's not even elusive, but for me, I had a lot of jobs along the way, and I never imagined that I would be on anybody's job 20 years, right? So it's been hard to hold on, because had I known the things that I know now, I would have probably left 5 years ago. But now that I can leave, and I know that I will have at least a small income, right? I'm so thankful and so grateful that I held on long enough for at least that, right? For that. But I also recognize what being on somebody else's time, 40 hours a week, every week. I also realize that I don't know, that stole a lot of my time and a lot of me that I won't say I can't get me back, but it took that time away, right? So I'm ready to go. I can't wait. And even though we are putting in a new bathroom soon, it don't matter. I'm still leaving. They ain't nothing they can do right now to make me stay. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your attention. Again, leave something in the comments if you understand how I'm feeling. If you're going through the same thing, if you're about to retire or you recently retired, or maybe it'll be another year before you retire. Leave something in the comments and let me know what you think, and ask me any questions. Ask me what you would like to see in terms of content going forward. But thanks so much for being here, and you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week, and come back and see me. Thanks. Bye bye.